We started at the very start with a confidentiality agreement. Everybody starts with a confidentiality agreement to make sure that, like you say, we're not telling everybody about it without them saying that they'll keep it secret. And you can get these online, you can find them online. I personally used one that I had from a previous invention and just altered it to suit this invention. Then we needed a prototype, so we needed to raise some money. The hardest thing we've had to do is to raise money. And you're always raising money when you're developing something like this, if you're a small company like us. If you're a larger company, you'll budget for it, but we had to do our budget in stages. We joined the Welsh Innovation Network, and the reason we did that is because there's expertise there at your disposal. Unfortunately, that's gone now with this new shake-up that they've had at thingy. So we did have a lot of expert advice from people. We went and sought some private equity investors, friends and family to start with. They're the easiest people if you're trying to get an idea off the ground and you want some money. Go and see your family. Just make sure you don't lose their money. And as I said, through WIN, we utilised the grant system. Now, it's been very unfortunate because during our journey, the grant system's changed 3 times now, and it's really frustrating. We just got used to SIF, and now it's changed again. And then we sourced the manufacturer. Now, we tried to source a manufacturer in the UK, and it was at the start of the recession, and we had a lot of closed doors from engineering companies who weren't interested in taking on new work. And we thought, that's a pretty bad show. We actually ended up with a manufacturer in Taiwan. It's a long story, that, so I'll cover that in the questions if anybody wants to ask how we found him. We also employed designers because it's all right to have an invention and develop a product. It's got to look nice and it's got to be usable and it's got to be designed for manufacture as well. It's got to be made so it can be manufactured cheaply and effectively and efficiently, but also good enough quality to do the job that it's meant to do. Now, we developed a strong brand and corporate identity. I'll cover this in a minute, but it's one of the things where protection comes in very strong on that as well. We did extensive market research even before we made our patent application. We checked to see what was available within our market, whether the market existed. You know, did all the research before we started anyway to see if anybody had done it before. We went on from our patent application to do a PCT application, which I'll come to again. We use patent agents. I always advocate using patent agents. I have written a patent myself once, but the language, like you say, it's a fine art, and it's got to be written the right way in order to make the most of the claims that you're making. An example I gave before was that my first invention was a flood defence system, and there was over 1,000 components to this flood defence system, but we only got the patent on one very, very small part. Now, the patent for that was rather large, and most of it had been done before, but this one very small part was the part that actually made it work, because nobody had got it working before. So that was interesting. Other forms of protection are trademarks. SERA is a registered trademark, which stands for Sports Injury Rehabilitation Assistant. That's what we call it when we go into the hospitals, but it's just SERA when we go into the gyms because it's for conditioning as well. We register designs. So once you've got your designers and you've got your pictures and you've got all your drawings done, get them registered. It's another form of protection. One way of protecting your idea is to tell the world about it. Because although you keep it secret at the start, you've got to get to this point where you've got to start talking to people. You've got to start telling people. But once you've invested all this money in this idea, start telling the world about it. Because then the world knows it's yours. And the more exhibitions you go to and competitions you enter and things like this, the more people know that that's your invention. So then if you do have to police it in the future, hopefully, that's going to go some way to helping. We did a lot of marketing, a lot of networking. We do a lot of these events to network with people because you're learning all the time. We're learning all the time. There's always different things we're learning. And we got famous names involved. John Hartson there on the machine. Rob was training John for his run-up. Ben Nevis, wasn't it? Yeah, Ben Nevis. So the importance of protection is basically you're investing a lot in your design, you're investing a lot in your idea, so you've got to protect it. And that protection then is very important for investor confidence. If you're trying to raise money to get your idea off the ground, people want to see you're serious about your idea, that you've invested in your idea, that you've put the hours in, that you've put the sweat in. that you've put the blood in as well. Some ways of protecting yourself is you protect your corporate branding, protect your corporate identity as well. Don't get paranoid about searching. Do searches once a week, once a month, etc. Keep an eye on your IPR, police your IPR, but don't get paranoid about it. Some people can get completely paranoid about just looking to see if anybody else has done what they're doing, and then they lose the point and stop doing what they're doing. Also, one thing a lot of inventors have is what I call the my baby syndrome. I had it on the first invention where I wanted to do everything. I didn't want anybody to do anything to do with my baby because I knew more about it than anybody else. And I soon learned that you can't do everything. There are experts out there who can do things for you. This is why we use designers, because although I might think it looks pretty, my idea might be from the 1950s and might not be applicable to what's out there in the market at the moment. We deliberately went away from classical sporting type design because we got different markets, because we got the medical market as well as the sports market, and we got to try and fit into two markets. So we had to try and make the machine look modern, but good enough to fit within both of those markets. Actually, we've gone for quite a retro look, as you'll see with the machine outside later. I think it looks like K9, but... yeah, so that gives you shareholder security then, that they know that you're looking after their investment, because a lot of people don't realise, but when somebody's investing in an idea, they're not investing in the idea, they're investing in you and your ability to do something with that idea. And they know it's a serious project. So that's us.